Fox 8 Sports. This is the Final Play with Sean Pazan. Brought to you by your Southern Quality Ford dealers and Oceana Grill.
Welcome into the Final Play. Glad you are finishing your 4th of July weekend with us. Tonight, recruiting never seems to stop in college football, and LSU is working on a masterful class. We'll break that down. Plus, if you missed our Ranking the Saints countdown, we are recapping 20 through 16. But we begin with the Pelicans, where the coaching staff will look completely different next season. But so far, the roster looks exactly the same. Coming into the offseason, the biggest question surrounding the Pelicans was, will Anthony Davis sign an extension? Well, the Pels got their answer literally 1 minute into free agency.
It'll be AD taking it the distance.
That's when Davis tweeted he was here for 6 more years after agreeing to a 5-year max contract extension worth a total of nearly $145 million. With Davis signed, the Pelicans then shifted their attention to his often criticized front court mate, Omer Asik. The Pelicans always maintained they wanted Asik back, and they were true to their word when they signed him to a reported 5-year contract. Then the Pels moved on to their reserves and brought back center Alexia Jinsa on a 4-year deal worth a reported $20 million. And on the 4th of July, while many were out lighting fireworks, the Pelicans were agreeing to terms with Dante Cunningham. Sources confirmed to Fox 8 the deal is for 3 years, believed to be worth $9 million. And the Pelicans have rounded staff. Alvin Gentry has hired Phil Weber, current head coach of Sioux Falls in the D-League, former assistant under Alvin Gentry when he was with the Phoenix Suns. Here to help us break down the Pelicans' moves, we welcome in Jimmy Smith of NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune Pelicans columnist. Okay, we'll start with the overall approach, maintaining status quo. Do you like it?
Not really, Sean. I mean, what they're trying to tell us is a coaching change and the same players are going to get this team to the next level that they could not reach last year. They fought for the 8th seed last year. They had some injury problems. And now they're trying to tell everybody that with good health and an Alvin Gentry approach, this team's going to be advancing to the next level. I don't see it happening next year for sure, especially with the way the free agency has fallen in the Western Conference and specifically in the Southwest Division. You know, there's no impactful players that this team has added. Other teams around them have added impactful players. I think it's really a stretch to say that they're going to be competing for anything other than the 8th spot next year.
Well, the big question was answered, and it was answered very quickly, and that was the signing of Anthony Davis. I called it the biggest biggest thing to happen to pro basketball in New Orleans since the Bensons bought the franchise. I mean, how monumental was it to get him signed so quickly, for him to not even flirt with the idea of free agency?
Well, I think it was very big. It was kind of surprising, but then when you looked at it from a business standpoint, it was a prudent move because he's probably not going to be able to make up money on the backside of that if he'd have taken a 3-year or a 4-year deal. Here he's got a 4-year, the player option at the end. He'll probably opt out. All of them do, and renegotiate or maybe play the field at that time when he can be an unrestricted free agent. But he's going to make gobs of money, more money than probably ever would have imagined growing up in Chicago, in the mean streets of Chicago that he did. It is a huge move for this franchise because they can build around him for the next 4 or 5 years and know that absolutely the best player or one of the best players in the NBA is going to be here for at least 5 years.
Did you think, though, he would just agree that quickly? I mean, I guess we had heard all along he loved New Orleans, and I guess that proved to be correct.
Well, we heard that from other people. We never heard it from Anthony. You know, Anthony, he never came out and said, yeah, I love New Orleans. I'm going to be here. It's not going to be an issue. Obviously, he's feeling a connection with Alvin Gentry, and he likes the players that have been surrounding him this last year. But I do think it was a surprise that, barely 90 seconds after 11 o'clock, when the witching hour came, that he said yes.
One front court player in, another one joins him as well, and that's the most talked about center in New Orleans right now, Omer Asik. I got to tell you, the feedback I got was they did not like this move. Did you like the move of bringing back Omer Asik?
I did not think Omer Asik, and we don't know, everything we're dealing with right now is hypotheticals because we haven't seen any, Alvin Gentry run practices. We don't know what kind of scheme he's gonna come in. But far too many times last year we saw a 4-on-5 offensive set for the Pelicans because Asik was never above midcourt, or by the time he got there, the play was over. He's a great rebounder, no question about that. He can't finish around the rim. He has horrible hands. Yep. His shot was blocked far too often, which really negated his offensive rebounding ability. If you can't finish what you're pulling down, it really negates your effectiveness there under the boards. When he was engaged, he was a good defensive player. I think Ajinça would be a better fit based on what we're hearing on what Alvin Gentry wants to do as far as pace, a little bit more movement. Ajinça moves faster, he runs faster. He doesn't lope up the floor. He'll run both ends of the floor with Anthony Davis, who obviously this offense is going to be built around. I think $58 million for 4 years for Asik was a bit high.
You mentioned Alexis Ajinça. He ended up getting 4 years, $20 million. I mean, that's good money for a role player who may have an expanding role this year. And I guess time now for your way too early prediction. The Pelicans, what you've seen so far, last year they were an 8th seed. Are they still a fringe playoff team, or are they a sound, solid playoff team with this roster and this coaching staff? Can you say that definitively right now?
I think they're fighting for 8th. Okay. I think, again, Oklahoma City is going to have their health back. Yeah. And let's face it, if Oklahoma City had been healthy the second half of the season, I'm not so sure the Pelicans make the playoffs. I mean, not that they did not deserve to get in, because they did not back in. They fought tooth and nail, embraced Monty Williams' message, stayed the course, and made it through the front door of the playoffs, not the back door. With the way things have shaped up so far in free agency in this last week and a half, I don't see them fighting for anything higher than an 8th seed right now.
It's going to be a fun summer, no doubt. It's going to be a fun season, no doubt. Jimmy Smith, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sean.
Speaking of Pelicans, Drew Holiday has been there supporting his wife all tournament at the Women's World Cup. Coming up, after an off-season of change, the Saints roster is completely different. Find out how many newcomers made it into our top 20 countdown as we revealed numbers 20 through 16.
You're watching The Final Play.
Welcome back into the show, and in exactly 25 days, the Saints will hold their first training camp practice at the Greenbrier in West Virginia. Indeed, football is oh so close. To help us get through the dead period, we've compiled our annual Ranking the Saints countdown. This week, we ran down 20 through 16. Number 20, linebacker Dannell Ellerbe. The Saints thought enough of Ellerbe to take him as a part of the trade that sent one of their up-and-coming stars, Kenny Stills, to Miami. 2014 was tough for Ellerbe. He only played in 1 game before suffering a season-ending hip injury. That injury lingered into the offseason, where Ellerbe had limited participation. His signing with the Saints came with the return to his more natural position of weak side linebacker. As of now, he's penciled in to start alongside David Hawthorne. The Saints are hoping he not only brings production, but also a strong veteran presence to a locker room that lacked in that area last season. Ellerbe is new to the NFC, but he isn't new to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. In February of 2013, he won a Super Bowl ring there as a member of the Baltimore Ravens. At number 19, another newcomer, defensive tackle Kevin Williams. The Saints brought Williams in late in free agency, but he wasn't given the standard run-of-the-mill veteran minimum contract. Instead, the Saints paid him like a man who they expect to be a big-time contributor along the defensive line. In the 1-year deal signed, Williams got a $1 million base salary and $500,000 guaranteed in a signing bonus. Williams is entering his 13th season in the league. For his career, he's missed a total of 5 games and recorded 63 sacks. At one point in time, Williams was considered one of the best defensive tackles in the game. The Saints are hoping he has more than enough gas left in the tank, as he will be a key part of the rotation along the defensive line. And much like Ellerbe, was also brought in to provide some veteran leadership.
In the shotgun, and here they come, and it's Hawthorne who has him.
Saints linebacker David Hawthorne comes in at number 18 on our countdown. Hawthorne has some big holes to fill this season. He replaces Curtis Lofton, who was cut at the middle linebacker spot, and will be counted on to match both Lofton's production and knowledge of the defense. Lofton called the defensive plays for the last 3 years and led the team in tackles in each of those seasons. Hawthorne was second on the team with 83 tackles. He was also third on the team with 3 sacks and even added an interception in 2014.
Going to be knocked up into the air and intercepted by Hawthorne.
With a defense built to be stronger along the front end and the back end, it'll be up to Hawthorne to hold things together from the middle. At number 17, tight end Josh Hill. He was the player that head coach Sean Payton couldn't get enough of at the NFL owners meetings back in March.
Now this Josh Hill, is another player that I love. The same thing would apply with a player like Josh Hill. Josh Hill, a lot of you guys aren't even aware of.
The Saints and the fan base are certainly aware of him now, especially with the departure of Jimmy Graham. Hill was a touchdown machine in 2014 with 5 off just 14 catches. Those reception totals are sure to go up in 2015, where Hill will be one of Drew Brees' most trusted targets.
He's got Hill again in the right flat. There's Josh Hill once more.
At number 16 is right tackle Zach Strief. Strief's eventual replacement was taken with the Saints' first-round pick in the 2015 draft when they selected Stanford tackle Andrus Peat. However, while Peat is the future, the starting right tackle job is Strief's in the present, and he will look to hold on to it for as long as he possibly can. Strief has been one of the steadiest players along the Saints' offensive line since he took over the starting job in 2011. Plus, as one of the 3 remaining from the 2006 draft class, he is one of the longest tenured and most respected veterans within the locker room. That leadership and consistency will be counted on once again in 2015. Still to come, it may be the offseason, but it's prime time for recruiting. Times-Picayune and NOLA.com expert James Smith is in studio to talk about the great class LSU is putting together, the top talents in Southeast Louisiana.
You're watching The Final Play.
Welcome back. Think high school football greatness in the state of Louisiana, and one program immediately comes to mind: John Curtis. This week, the architect of that program, J.T. Curtis, was honored with football immortality on a national stage. Chad Sabity reports.
The football coach at John Curtis Christian School here in the New Orleans area, who has led his teams to 26 state titles.
A local legend who continues to excel on a yearly basis. J.T. Curtis is now a member of the National High School Hall of Fame. He's led John Curtis Christian School to 26 football state championships, a Louisiana record. He's also posted 540 victories and won a remarkable 90% of his games. But Curtis is quick to give credit elsewhere.
None of this is possible without every single player that made a contribution every single day in every single game. None of this is possible without a coaching staff that is completely committed to their kids and committed to the program.
Curtis wrapped up his 46th season in December, with the Patriots falling in the Division I state title game. At 68 years old, JT is not showing any signs of slowing down anytime soon.
As long as I feel like I'm able to go to the field and contribute, and I am not a stand-around guy. I am a guy that is active on the field. I work individually with positions, and I stay tremendously involved. And as long as I'm able to do that, and as long as the kids understand that I'm there to work with them and teach them and to make them to be better people, to make them to be better athletes, to help them through the difficult times in their life, then I want to continue to do that.
Curtis is second behind legendary South Carolina prep coach John McKissick in career victories at 621. With McKissick retiring this summer, JT Curtis could surpass his mark by averaging at least 10 wins over the next 8 seasons. But JT says that is not a priority.
The wins and losses are really not relevant, to be really honest with you. What's relevant is that we make the effort every day to be the best that we can be and to make the effort every day to make them into the best people that they can be. That's what motivates me.
And with John Curtis moving into the highly competitive Catholic League next fall, JT Curtis will continue to adapt. He admits the older he gets, the trickier it is to relate with today's high school athletes off the field.
I hadn't Instagrammed yet, okay? And I'm trying to find out what a tweet is. But other than that, I work really hard to stay abreast of who they are and what they do. Try to learn how to rap a little bit, but I had been very successful with that. But you know what? The fundamentals of what they need, the discipline, the love, and the commitment never changes. And I think that as long as they know that you're in it with them for those reasons, it's an enjoyable experience for everybody.
Time now to talk some recruiting with James Smith of NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune. You know him as Jimmy Detail on Twitter, one of the best in the business, okay? James, 2016, the Louisiana class. Is it better than 2014?
You know, this is something that's up for debate still, and we probably won't know for another 4 or 5 years until all these guys pan out at the next level and even on Sundays. But I think when you break down the depth in this 2016 class, there are more SEC caliber prospects than possibly any year ever, honestly. You know, but when you look at 2014, Leonard Fournette, Speedy Noyle, guys like that, those guys are few and far between. And I don't know if we have a guy like that in this 2016 class, but the depth overall, I'd have to give the nod to this group.
It's going to be fun to really watch both of those classes really develop. Let's talk about LSU's class, already becoming one of the best in the nation. 17 commitments already. A, is that high for this time of year? And B, just realistically, how good is this class so far?
I mean, it's a trend that we've seen over years, more and more early commitments. You know, LSU hasn't been at this number at this stage, so this is new for LSU, but a lot of programs have been recruiting like this for a few years now. LSU would have liked to have been at this number in years past, so they're very happy where they're at. Certainly only leaves about 8 spots left until National Signing Day, so they can really focus on just a handful of guys to try to close this down in this 2016 class. But, I mean, the class they have now is phenomenal. I mean, they have, and it's really about addressing needs. You can get talent, but if you're not filling your needs, you're not really addressing the problems here. So I think LSU had some needs coming in, defensive line, quarterback, linebackers, things like that, and they're really doing a great job at addressing those needs. So what a phenomenal class they're putting together.
Okay, so who is the next big name to commit, and when will it happen?
I will go with Christian Fulton from Rummel.
Okay.
A local kid from Rummel High School, one of the nation's premier cornerback prospects, you know, heading to the Nike opening pretty soon here, you know, going to be competing on the big stage. He wants to get it done before his senior season. So there's a little gap there, a little window. I could see it happening maybe at the LSU prospect camp, July 23rd. I know he's visiting Florida real soon, so he's got a couple more visits he wants to get out of the way, but I don't think it's long before Christian Fulton comes calling, and I do see him being a Tiger at this stage.
All right. All we know is LSU, when it comes to recruiting, D linemen check, DBs check, running backs check, wide receivers check. But now all anyone wants to talk about is the quarterback position, because it's been such an issue in recent years. Is Felipe Franks that guy?
I think you'd have to say so. It's so hard to project a quarterback because there's so many intangibles you really don't get to see, and these kids are still maturing as prospects themselves, but the tools this kid has, unbelievable. Threw a 78-yard ball in a long ball competition recently, 6'6", 220 pounds. His trainer sends me videos all the time of him training, and it's phenomenal what he does in the gym. So he's got all the tools to be really special. It's going to be progressing through a college-level system, making that adjustment. How quickly he adjusts to that will determine, you know, what kind of playing time he'll get early in his career. But I think when all is said and done, Felipe Franks should be a big quarterback here in Baton Rouge. 17
prospects, as we said, but we know how recruiting is. It changes like that sometimes. How many do you think stick by signing day?
You know, I can't really put a finger on anybody that would leave at this stage. You know, there might be one guy I'm a little worried about, Stephon Sullivan from Donaldsonville, big 6'5", 6'6", 230-pound wide receiver, flirting with TCU and some other programs. But unlike years past, I think the 17 and a half are a really solid group. And when you have Ed Orgeron on staff and Frank Wilson and Corey Raymond, it's going to be hard to tell those guys no. So I think as it stands now, they're in a very good position. I don't see anyone wavering, and I think they're going to hold on to all these guys. Final question here. Is there a local prospect, a local product
that with a strong senior year, all of a sudden shoots up recruiting boards and all of a sudden gets an LSU offer late in the process like a Foster Morrow last year?
Yeah, I mean, we see that every year in Louisiana. You know, you flip over a rock, you're probably going to find a prospect or mosquitoes. But, you know, a guy like Larry Robinson from Rummel, offensive lineman, has put together a couple good seasons here. It's really hard to find guys 6'4", 300-plus pounds. He's a really good football player, so I could see some bigger offers coming for Larry Robinson down the road. DeMonte Coxey, wide receiver from East St. John, a relative unknown, transferred from Terra High School. I see him having a monster season, and I think he's going to get a plethora of offers coming his way as a result. So there's always talent, hidden talent around the state of Louisiana, especially in the New Orleans area, and you can rest assured a couple of these guys will make their name for themselves during their senior year, and their recruitment will blow up as a result.
I wish I could talk to you all day about recruiting. It just goes on and on and on. James Smith, thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're watching The Final Play.
There was a point in time not too long ago where UNO had a marquee college baseball program, and they decided that Blake Dean is the man that they believe will get the Privateers back to their glory days. This week, UNO removed the interim tag and officially named Dean head coach.
Coach Maestri believed in me. He gave me an opportunity to succeed, and I couldn't thank him any more for that. I hope he knows that I'll continue to push this thing forward.
That is all the time we have for tonight. Our thanks to both Jimmy and James Smith of NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune. Glad you were able to complete your holiday weekend with us. For all of us here at Fox 8 Sports, I'm Sean Fazand, and that's your Final Play.
The Final Play was brought to you by Southern Quality Ford Dealers and Oceana Grill.